Before you break the pilot bit on your hole saw, consider this instead. Hey Garage Fabbers, it's Man Candy, in case you didn't recognize me without a chin. Hole saws or hole cutters come in different shapes, sizes, and styles. But the one thing they all have in common is a device that keeps the cutter stable while cutting. Without it, good luck, my friend. Many hole cutters have a drill bit in the middle. This creates a pilot hole, and then the shaft of the bit becomes the centering device that keeps the cutting drum steady as it cuts. If you're new to hole saws, you're likely going to break a few of these bits. And if you're experienced with hole saws, you're likely going to break a few of these bits. Usually when I break one, it's because I'm using a hand drill and I'm rushing. I put too much pressure on the pilot bit. And when it finally breaks through, the hole cutter slams into the material, and if it's slightly crooked, which is probable with a hand drill, it'll jerk to the side and snap the bit. Whoops, now you're screwed. You've got nothing to hold the hole cutter steady. And if appearance matters to you, your workpiece might also be ruined. Luckily, the pilot bit is replaceable, but you're gonna have to make a trip to the store and hope they have one in stock. So before you do that, consider these tricks instead. First is probably the most obvious. Even though the actual replacement bit is short and has a flat spot for the set screw, you can use just a regular drill bit. Here in the States, I think the most common size pilot bit is a 1/4 inch. It'll work just as good. And the longer bit will give you more time to slow the drill down before the cutter smashes into the material after the pilot bit punches through. The second method is the one I use most. Who says the centering device has to be a drill bit? Grab some steel rod the same diameter as the pilot bit and cut a piece so that it sticks out below the teeth of the hole cutter at least a 1/2 inch, and tighten the set screw. Obviously, you can no longer drill the pilot hole and cut the large hole with the same tool, but I very much prefer to drill the hole first with a regular bit anyways, even if my pilot bit is still good. If you're cutting a single hole, it'll take a few extra seconds to switch from the drill bit to the hole cutter. But if you've got a lot of holes to make, drilling all the pilot holes first will speed everything up, and it pretty much eliminates the risk of breaking the guide and marring the workpiece. That brings us to hole cutting hack number 2. What happens if you need to cut a hole on the edge of a piece of metal or overlapping another hole? There's nothing to keep the pilot bit or rod steady, so once again, good luck. Here's a tool I've created just for that. With this, the centering mechanism isn't even needed. In fact, you can remove it completely. Instead, the hole cutter itself is stabilized by an already existing hole, the same size as the hole cutter you're using. The guide is then clamped firmly to the workpiece. Have you ever cut a hole and realized it was too small? Once again, there's nothing to hold the pilot bit or guide pin, so this tool will be really handy. How do you make one of these? It should be fairly obvious. You cut holes with your hole cutters. I've created guides for my Hougen RotaCut sets with all the different sizes in one piece of steel. I'd recommend using at least 1/8 inch thick flat bar to keep the hole cutter from jumping out of the guide. Currently, I've only got a handful of barrel-style BiMetal hole saws, and I've only made a guide for the ones I use most often. If you try one of these tricks, let me know in the comments how it went, and if you found value in this type of video, hit the like button and I'll share a lot more of my simple fab tips. Until the next one, my friends, keep moving forward.